What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shonen Speak Easy. It is your host, LQ, and today is just a simple update. I wanted to let everyone know kind of what's going on with the podcast, why our availability has been all over the place, and kind of give you some insights to like how the process is going and what to expect in the future. We released Hip Hop with Context Part 2. This part is now just kind of, diving into what we have been doing, what we haven't been doing, things that we want to talk about, and kind of just take a couple quick hits on things that have, occurred. So, for starters, why is everyone else not on the podcast? Well, it's because we got jobs. The economy hit everyone pretty hard. And along with, me being on the search and having more availability, there also were instances where, Mira has had to work way more because of the economy itself. And also, Young Chill's had to work more, and our schedules just don't really work together. Also, Riverside, you suck at giving other people access to the platform. I have invited them multiple times so they can record on their own and make this a lot easier of a process. So we have consistent weekly uploads, and unfortunately, it hasn't gone through. So a lot of times you'll just be hearing mostly me, which of course I'm the person that's supposed to be responsible for how these things go anyway. So it's been okay. You're still going to get content. We're still going to cover hip hop. We're still going to cover anime more. I know that's been kind of a pain point for the people that are really here for the anime takes. I know that you are a little bit let down, but I promise you, we have more. It's just that we even need time to watch it. And also, quick review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run Episode 1. It's freaking fantastic. I can't wait for Episode 2. I actually got my wife to watch it, and she really enjoyed it. She was confused a little bit about, how things go, but it's JoJo's. It's going to be bizarre. And the only issue that I have is that there is no consistent scheduling to know when Episode 2, 3, anything down the line is coming out. And also, what is the season gonna hold as far as timing now? I think that's gonna be weird. I think that there is still some what can I say? There's still some issues with Netflix buying the rights anyway. And that kind of sucks. So Netflix Anime actually responded. They said, "Thank you all for the incredible support for Steel Ball Run JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The series is currently in production and will be available for everyone to enjoy. We are planning a split core release across the entire run of episodes. The next core, second stage, will begin streaming fall 2026 on Netflix with one new episode released each week. This release schedule is part of our original plan and reflects wishes of the production committee. Your passion and enthusiasm means a great deal to everyone involved in the preparation. We appreciate your patience and continued support as we work to bring you the second stage." And the only thing I can say is, why the fuck would you tease us like that? It was such a good episode, a great way to tell backstory in order to give everyone's motivations in a single episode, and also start putting together things to expect when it comes down to abilities and also the power of the steel ball, and pretty much just motivating everyone to be a part of the race. It was really cool, and it kind of aggravated me because now we have to wait till fall 2026, which, looking at the way the world is right now, either we'll be in the middle of World War III or, hopefully things will change. I do think that one episode then waiting until the fall is a little bit iffy. One, because I'm a person that always has the slight bit of paranoia of like tomorrow is never promised. But in a way, it's like a long teaser that has been so far out that the anticipation may die off in that time process. I think they should have just released maybe a 2 to 3 minute teaser, built up some more, I don't know, hype. There we go. Build up some more hype behind it. Maybe do a couple more clips, do some slides of the artwork, and give a little bit of lore, based on the manga. Hell, Netflix needs to start adding mangas. People need to read in general. But anyway, the episode was good enough to make me mad about there not being more episodes. Even my wife was like, so are we going to watch the next one? And I was like, yeah, about that. There is no next one. I rate the episode probably a 9 out of 10. I do think the pacing was good, except the flashback for, oh my God. Why am I remembering? For John? Yeah, for Johnny Joestar. I do think the backstory, the flashback, was a little bit out of nowhere pacing wise, and the rest was great. Introducing Gyro Zeppeli was really dope. Reintroducing this world's Dio, really awesome. Like, I just, in the race, in the artwork is beautiful. I know I'm jumping around, but the race scene in general looks really cool. But also, I think all the characters have a great amount of personality. I'm bad with names in general, so don't be alarmed if I start to forget some shit. But each character is memorable in their own way. Like Poco Loco, Steven Steele had the cool, like, broken eggshell hair. The design is awesome. The set piece is really good. I can't wait to see how the rest of this actually comes together. I really want to see the design for the Boom Booms, because they have some really cool design in the manga. So really excited moving forward. I also, I need to start reading the manga more, but I don't want to, because now it ruins some of that anticipation for me. It is what it is, though. Playing the game, the battle stars are made me enjoy these characters even more for the ones that did show up. And now just the anticipation is really high. I can't wait to play it. Oh, I can't wait to play the game again, knowing a bit more context about the characters, and then also can't wait for the show to show up in the fall. Anyway, other things going on in life after that brief review. We didn't do the J. Cole, the Fall Off review. One, because of the horrible press run that J. Cole has been on. I didn't want that to affect my thoughts on the album at all, or affect my thoughts on J. Cole as an artist. For those that don't know, I always say this first. Though I am probably the most critical of him out of the big three, he's also the person that I have had the most experience with, going to more of his concerts, actually going to stores to buy his album. He was overtaken by Kendrick as my favorite from the big three, but I still have a very high respect for him and an admiration for his ability as a writer and as a rapper. With that said, we consume content on a daily basis. I know I'm behind on releasing that episode now, but I want all three of us to be together, and I don't feel right doing it on my own, being the individual yapper about J. Cole's career, especially with someone like Young Chill, who was there when I was there. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that will be coming across soon. Yes, it will be delayed, but if you listen to us because you like listening to us, not because we're always on top of everything every single day, you will still find ways to enjoy the episode, but also there'll be a bit more nuance in the conversation as well. I'm not jumping on the hate train. I'm not jumping on the love train. You know the world, join hands, get on the love train, the love train. All right, I had to get that out of my head. But yeah, I don't think that it will have an effect. I know the timing isn't great, but I don't think it'll have an effect on the actual ability to be thorough in our content at all. With that said, I have been out of work since January, so I had more time to put into, I had more time to put into things like this and streaming, but it was a lot harder because I was the only person that was really available, and it made it a lot less enjoyable too, because I have been doing so many applications. I believe I have a total of 530 applications filled out. I have done at least, I would say, 25 to 30 interviews, and your boy finally got an offer. It's with a wonderful company. They're really big into mental health. No, it's not BetterHelp. No, you don't have to guess. I just don't feel like disclosing it at this time. But just know your boy is employed. I also accepted a part-time job, so that makes me more occupied. And I actually have some work to do for them today, so I'm trying to get that out the door. I want to show my value in the workspace, especially with there being so much, I guess, so much doubt, so much friction, so many scams, so much hate going on just in the, due to economic change and how the workforce is being treated, how the hiring processes go. LinkedIn has been a nightmare. There's so much AI slop. There's so many people trying to scam other people. There's so many people that are just harboring information. Companies that don't want to give you an interview but want to keep your resume for a job opening that pretty much is never going to come, and have that information for the next year. Or they want to talk to you about getting your resume redone to make it past AI filters. Yet they are the people that use the AI filters in order to filter out who can and can't make it in this workplace. But on top of that, they also, in some cases, lie about it and say, well, if we detect you using any AI, then, you won't be considered. So it's just very weird. It's a very weird space, and the content that's on LinkedIn isn't any more encouraging. I called out a post that was somebody that said they had been out of work for about 8 months, and in that time period of using their status or their space in LinkedIn to grow their readers and their viewership, I found out this person had been lying the whole time about not being employed for 8 months. They had been working at the same company for 2 years. And I guess it was just like AI generated posts that they were posting in order to gain more traction and more attention. This person was never unemployed. So what really pisses me off is there's people that are real people, that are recruiters, that see these popular posts. They go in and say, hey, I want to help you get employed. I want to find you a spot. Let's get together. I know someone at this place that's hiring. And come to find out, this person is just engagement baiting, or in some extents, rage baiting, just to get other people to comment, like, and share their post. And they're getting paid out by LinkedIn. It's whack as hell. I've been reading, a lot of these advice articles on using AI to write your anime. I mean, wait, using AI to write your resume, not your anime. My goodness, I am tired. But they talk about the drawbacks of it when you're competing with thousands of people who apply for a job. And sometimes the things that I've also ran across is you're not only competing with AI, you're not only competing with other people, but you're also competing with companies who lie about the actual hiring in order to get more candidates, to gauge what their compensations are worth, what experience they can look for if the position ever opens. And they hold these resumes just to basically use AI to evaluate and aggregate. And then they never hire anyone. There's a job I applied for that's been open for 6 months. There's no way in hell this job is still open. It pays extremely well. I met all the requirements for the job, and I actually exceeded expectations. And I was turned away in about 3 days. But they also want you to opt into being able to text you or being able to hold on to your resume for a year. I always reject those. I don't want you to call me. I don't want you to text me. I don't want you to tell me in 3 years down the road that you're finally hiring for a position and you considered me, because that's not going to happen anyway. So it's just been kind of a scam, and it's also very discouraging seeing people, real people, apply for 500 or 600 jobs, and sometimes they don't get an interview at all, which, I would say in some regards is more rare than what you think. But in this economy, people are working for less than what they're worth, and these companies know that they have the leverage to, whenever you come with a counter offer or you say that you need an extra benefit, or you're not happy with the PTO, they can freely just be like, take it or leave it. But I will say my luck has changed. I've been blessed to be able to accept a full-time job. I have a part-time job that I'm currently working. And, that has made things a lot easier for me. Life is feeling kind of nice right now. I haven't started yet, but, now the pressure is on to produce immediately and at a high level. And with the current landscape of everything, it's very nerve-wracking and it's kind of scary. And I'm scared not for me in general, but for my family, for my friends that are also looking for work. It's not easy. There's not a lot of encouragement either that's going into this. You see a lot of people getting laid off. You see Oracle laying off 30,000. You see Amazon laying off 10,000. You see, OpenAI shutting down Sora, which great, fuck them. But that also means a lot of people who are in these spaces, who may be cloud engineers, who are, digital marketers, who are in HR, who are in customer service. A lot of these people are losing their jobs just because of how inconsistent everything has been in the market. And also with the cost of living going up, with gas being so goddamn high. $4 a gallon on average across the United States. Do y'all not understand that not only before this war, but even just a few months back from that, gas in Texas was averaging about $2.30 a gallon. If you go back maybe like 5 years or so, 5 to 6 years, gas was under $2 in Texas. Matter of fact, let me go confirm that, because I live here, I actually saw. You know what? I can actually take that back. In January, there was a gas station. If you paid cash, it was like $2.01. A few months before that, because it was me and my brother-in-law driving around together. The gas was $1.98. That was at one place. I'm not gonna say that's the truth, but the last time the average gas price in Texas was under $2 was early 2021. That's ridiculous. That's 5 years ago, which I was right. I was still right. I said 5 or 6 years ago, I was right. But it's just a crazy time to be in, a crazy, discouraging, aggravating, angry time to be in. And I really want that shit to change for everyone. Even the people that are so against the positive change we need to happen. I hope that the world gets better for them through our lens, not through theirs, because all they promote is racism and hate. I want the world to get better so the people that they raise, for the families that they cultivate, for the communities that they live in, to build up against what their thoughts were of what we needed in order to get where we should be. I want them to be so wrong that everyone around them turns on them, because they now understand that this way, this shit, this white supremacy, this evil racist regime, this regime that also protects pedophiles, that protects billionaires, that protects criminals, hopefully it changes everyone's mind and their philosophy and it goes away. And we start taking action on it. But that's a big part of what's going on and why this podcast has been so slow rolling. It takes money, effort, and resources in order to do podcasts. It's one of the reasons why I got to speaking more freely and doing less editing, because it took more time, and it was time I didn't have for a skill that most people aren't able to see or hear. I believe that we do a great job of making content, and we haven't really had the time or space to put it in short form, and we don't have the funds to go get an editor to do it for us at this time. So, we're making do, but we also need to build on the marketing and getting out the message that we want to give out and sharing our stories and experiences, because it's cool stuff. Sometimes you don't need for everything to be jokes, but we also keep it pretty lighthearted over here as well as being informative. I will say one piece of content that we will not be covering anymore, even though it was heavily requested in our first 10 episodes, we're not covering wrestling anymore. I don't watch it anymore. Yes, wrestling has gotten very political. they support people that really shouldn't be in wrestling. Brock Lesnar. They have also had some really shitty bookings, in my opinion. So I'm just not interested. Shout out Kenny Omega, though. He's still awesome. He's still one of my favorites. I just don't really care to make time to watch it and then report back on it in the podcast. It's not, the value's not there. More hip hop to come. Isaiah Rashad's dropping a new album. Like I said, we still have to do the fall off review. There, an album review for IDK will be coming up pretty soon. I'm also going to start doing more reaction content, not like everyone else's reaction content where they see a funny video that someone has sent them and, you know, then they finally have something to say about it. But reacting and responding to content creators who may talk about topics of my interest that I may not be mostly in alignment with, or if they have a take that I can probably add some nuance to, something of that nature, I want to start doing that as well. I mean, it's kind of how we pick our topics, but we do a lot of reading from the source, you know what I'm saying? And then we give our take instead of being more reactive with some of the content and sharing our feelings compared to other people's feelings, or sharing our knowledge compared to what other people have put together as well. Kind of formulating more of a conversation to be had. And I want that conversation to be had with you all and with us as creators as well, especially if I'm going to be doing topics, more so topics by myself, because I'm the person that has more of the flexibility to do so. That's kind of how the format should work out for me. It just seems to come off a bit better and more collaborative in a way. With that said, we do have the album reviews coming up, more reactive content, no more wrestling content at all, probably less basketball content. I'm kind of getting tired of that too. The discourse around hip hop and basketball has gotten so toxic and so boring that it's very hard to engage in good faith with anyone that is talking about it. So, you know, I don't want to hear anything more about the Big Three conversation. They release projects. We'll listen to them. We'll react to them. We'll review them. In basketball, if something cool happens, big trade happens, if LeBron announces his retirement, if, you know, someone takes over as the face of the NBA, yeah, we'll talk about it, but we're not going to do the day-to-day. Your game 42 on a Tuesday night between the Hawks and the Kings, like I just don't care. I just don't care. And it's getting really hard to care because we have very little capacity to ingest the content that we want, because it has to be filtered out for the content that we have to consume. I know y'all seen those Lego videos from Iran, and it gets really hard to, as a person like myself, it gets really hard to find the entertainment value in them when I am concerned about humanity. Not to say that they aren't good. They're pretty cool. But it takes away from that for me. So a lot of times when I'm seeing it, I'm just watching them to stay informed and seeing how propaganda is being spun on both ends and seeing if there's any nuance where we can actually see and find the truth. And that's been really hard because that truth navigates how we move as a society. It affects politics. It affects the workspace. It affects your home. And for people that are like, I don't really care about politics. Politics ain't got nothing to do with me. If you don't do politics, politics will do you every single time. Everything is political. So you might as well be informed. Don't overburden yourself with the information. You know, even though everything is political, you don't have to have a political stance on every single thing. You know, Discord is political. Windows, Mac, everything has political implications, but you don't have to have a political stance on everything. That's okay. It's just sometimes you need to be more informed so you know how to make your next move, your best move. Is there anything else? My son's birthday's coming up. He's going to be 3. I love you. And what else we got? I think that might be it. Usually this is the part where I call it, because if I get to a point where I don't know what to talk about, that means the episode is complete. So, with that said, until next time, take care of yourself and one another. Love yourself and love those who love you the most. Call me LQ. Shonen Speak Easy. We out.